talk about source today. Most exciting topic. So excited. Have you been all feeling the shifts? The shifts from the shifts? Have you been feeling the shifts from the shifts? Everybody? I had this really cool download from the changes that have been going on with all of my gifts and my skills and my talents. And so I wanted to bring this forward, and then I started feeling really giddy, and I started feeling really happy about the energies that are. We talked about it a few times. The word that came up from the Galactic Federations as they were telling me about why and how practicing capacity and aptitude over the last couple of years has been so important, because as we're moving into new dimensional threads and how things kind of have to move based on where everybody's at with their karma, with the vibration that they have, all of the triad of the multiverse, the triad of the universes that they show me. It is a vision that they show me, the triad of the universes. Where we've recently made a shift is into, it's been in a new dimension. And there's so many different shifts that people can make. Yes, there is a 5D newer star, but there's infinite perspectives of what 5D looks like based on where your consciousness is at, what you practice, what you're allowing yourself to raise to. So there's infinite number of dimensions. There's infinite experiences of your expression of source. So it's going to, our dimensional experience, our dimensional reality will have a lot to do with our expression of source, and how excited you are to express source, and how you're understanding consciousness and processing consciousness will be a lot on how you experience your reality. It can be no other way, right? Because you're the vessel, you're the co-creative micro macro of source creator. So as you're recombining back to source, you're having, all that you are in activation, all that you are is being activated. But it's up to you to, and why we keep talking about when you're doing the path work, and having that minutia daily, and that churning and that becoming, you're allowing yourself to stretch that consciousness and match source. And what they showed me in this beautiful vision that I had was the dimensional spirals that go like this, like the threads of the spirals of the dimension. And in between, and on these little dots, and in between, there's these golden flecks, and we've talked about it before, called the substrates. The substrates that we exist within, the omnipresent that we exist within, is more source creator refined energy. So it's more source energy refined. And so what we're manifesting and how we're manifesting is at a much more beautiful harmonic pace. You feel more alive and electric within it. I'm constantly walking around with goosebumps all the time. And just because I get so happy to talk about source, and of course, once I get happy to talk about source and excited, then all the energies that want to meet with me and deal with me and work with me, from the systems of light and all the other, fairies and all the other energies, they just they feel into that light energy through my heart chakra. So I'm really excited to practice the energies that I've been coded with. So that's going to be exciting, and the substrates activate that. And so the substrates activate, and they parlay with your DNA. They parlay with your gift, skills, and your talents. They parlay with, how you're here to express source. That's going to be the dimensional reality that you experience. Again, if those that experience, and do all of the dark occults and do the hate and the Epstein agendas and all that, that's going to be their reality, and it's not going to be on the same one you're on. So you're going to have less and less contact with them, because there's not going to be the resonance for them to be in that same pocket of dimension. And so there has been a lot of shift offs. There's been a lot of contracts that have been cut and closed, as long as you're understanding that when there's those people leaving your life and the shifts and the changes that have been going on, that you understand how to close out the energies, how to close out the contracts, reclaiming those soul fragments and those energies from those experiences. And that's sometimes why you go back to visit places, or you go back to your teams will guide you in certain ways to go back to certain experiences that may have seemed traumatic, but you've got to gather that energy back because you've given it away. Even if it's been in a covert abuse experience, at some level you gave that energy away, sometimes because they're so karmically, these stories are so karmically deep. Like they go back to the histories way back into the galaxy of being enslaved by certain beings and species. And sometimes these species cannot come out of that enslavement. And so it's really important that we get the stories, on why and who we're playing it with, and really cut them off, at the get-go, understanding and communicating and working with as soon as possible your multidimensional light bodies, working with light, understanding light, working with your chakras, how to understand your chakras, how they get activated, when they get activated, in what way they get activated, and how to bring those gifts and skills and talents to life. So they showed me this beautiful spiral of, the dimensions that are spiraling around in every moment, and because the 3D is down here and there's the 4 and 5D, but there's infinite bandwidths within 5D. We don't even know 5D because we haven't even touched on it yet. So just say the 5D is infinite. We're just tapping into the 5D right now. And so in this spiral of 5D experiences, they showed me all these golden bubbles that were in between the realms. And even down in 3D, they're still being touched with that rarefied source substrate. And so Source was showing me that, yes, there's all these golden crystalline bubbles of consciousness, of God consciousness, that are moving in and out of the substrates, the omnipresent of Source, of the Earth Collective. And so this is why Source was saying that there's going to be mass awakenings. There's going to be mass experiences that will come up and show that, of course, like my discrimination course, and once there's a few arrests made, and once there's the plugging and the pulling of the core abuses, it's going to bring up a lot of really how and why it got so entangled, how and why so many were involved, how and why the checks and balances were never looked at. And we really get to see at the core of it, how and why were the abuses, where did it stem from, how did it stem from, how do we do our healing, how do we tap into it sooner than later, how did it go so long being missed without, the checks and balances and those in the appropriate positions. There's going to be a lot being pulled out from this experience. And in it gives us a palette of a lot of those that are really looking to be higher vibrational leaders, teachers, and coaches, and creators of new systems of 5D, to really dive into situations like this and bring in that light and start pulling out, what is the most efficient way that we can do this now, starting from here and align with the sacred Trinity, and not moving through the old ways and the old systems of how we used to do investigations, how we used to do, returning the monies back to the people, and beginning new government experiences. We say government loosely, new creative healing systems for humanity, so that they're not going through, infinite bureaucratic red tape BS that you have to wait years and years and years and fill out a billion piece of paper. Meanwhile, every hand that they pass by, some of them are corrupt, taking money, and some of them are not, and some of them are just fabricated altogether, which is what happened in my case. There was so much fabrication and so much falsification done, and there were so many people involved that were supporting each other's lies, and they were supporting each other's, defamations and all of the things that were going on. So, but Source has gone in and pulled the hand of Source, if you will, and it's been a juggernaut. It's been a juggernaut. This week we'll find out some of the things that have been happening, and I'll bring what I can forward based on some of the charges that I'm going to be placing on obviously some of the people, because it's been criminal abuse and premeditated murder and constant relentless years and years of abuse with zero concern. There's been a lot of negligence, gross negligence on so many levels. So there's going to be quite a few court cases that will be filed. But I'll bring forward what I can. There is going to be resolve and restitution this week. There will be the first hand of the God that will be pulling people out, and they will be seen, and there will be, hopefully arrests made. I'm hoping there will be arrests made this week. And there will be things come out that were so hidden that people had purposely, intentionally had me hidden since the day I was born. And they knew that, this is where we have to get to the bottom of. I know that some of it, because of who I am and because of the role that I play for Source, I know that Source also had me hidden. I get that, but there is definitely negligence on YouTube's behalf and the people that were working with YouTube and the organized cults around the world. So now that we've been talking about for some time, and we kind of know, I just wanted to show you this drawing that I did. Now that we've been talking about it for a while, and we kind of know, how these people have been, behaving. Right, like the shadow governments at the top, they were the ones that knew exactly who I was. And so they had their specific programs, and that was involving the CIA and the FBI and other investigative, experiences to, the military and all that kind of stuff. They were used to kind of track any one of the star seeds that were any one of the advanced beings that were in these programs like Project Stargate, MK Ultra, any of these other type of programs. And then as we moved into the communities, they had assigned certain cults and covens based on wherever you were and whatever location you were. And these were the middlemen, if you will. They were the gatekeepers, the handlers, if you will. And so it doesn't matter where you were shuffled and where you were moved. Once they found out your gifts and skills and talents, what kind of light you came with, what kind of energy you came with, what your Akashic lineage was, that would determine on what price they get for you. That would determine what price they get to handle and move you back and forth. So a lot of RICO crimes, if there is a black web, and one cult would move you to this cult because your father got a job and moved over to the other side of the country. So they would be moving you, and they would be held within that same type of, online cult and organized crime, and then you would be sold to them so that they would have whatever they can do with you. And their understanding and their beliefs are, well, you're within the family and you're the next to be sacrificed. But if you look at it the grander scheme, of any type of belief system. So the basic rule of thumb is you just sacrifice the children. And so at what state? Then you're only left with old people that are warped and diseased and wounded. So you never have any new generational energy coming in. This is where their beliefs about every generation, the DNA of the children get higher and higher and higher. Their consciousness gets higher. But their attitudes and why it's become such a problem is because the gross negligence and the satanic misguidance, the Luciferian misguidance, all of these people that do dark occult rituals to gain short-term power, to gain short-term light, to gain short-term life force. It's all been misunderstood. It's all wrong information. It's all absolutely been misguided right from the get-go. And they've gathered themselves in little cults and covens to think that they believe that it's all against God and there is no God and so on and so forth. I know there's lots of ads of news stories coming out about the growth of anti-Semitic energies on the planet and so on and so forth. And we're not going to speak about it in that way. It's simply that there's been so many people on the planet that have been misguided. They have been taken off path of understanding about who they are as a divine being, who they are in connection with all creation and what's going on within them as spirit. Everybody on the planet will be awakening in mass awakenings, and that includes those that have been, atheists and Luciferian and Satan. They're gonna be awakening to that. Oh my gosh, I found out that this is only one timeline, a very short timeline, and some people get so caught up in these dark energies because you do get the black magic brain fog, especially if you've had other people's and you've been giving these people power to do these certain rituals that take your mind out of your sense of self and you're releasing your sense of autonomy. And this is what a lot of the cults and covens do, and a lot of them work with brainwashing and mental manipulation. They work with gangs of people doing spell work on me, and spell work on others as well. So it's really, for you to survive is far between none. But their belief systems are warped and wrong. It's how they believe, that's fine. They can do whatever they want. But what's been happening is that all of the generations that are meant to be younger and more intelligent, they end up sacrificing them because these older people think that they're the almighty Illuminati and whatever their beliefs are. Absolutely abhorrent, disgusting, gross negligence, and they're going to be pulled out. And so that's the problem, is because, Source is doing Source's job by, putting the divine seed in these new children as they're coming about. But because of the gross negligence and wrong information that's spanning across the planet, because of all of the corruption across the planet, everybody's just getting their dollars in. It's just greed and selfishness and the disconnect from spirit. The total disconnect from spirit, the total disconnect from light, disconnect from higher intelligence, disconnect from evolution, disconnect from the soul. Nobody's teaching soulful evolution. Nobody understands soul progression. It's just an empty vessel of nothing but Epstein corruption, mud, and mess. And so what are the world leaders going to do? Are the world leaders going to stand up and say, let's heal this? They don't know anything about the chakras. They haven't done a chakra activation. Like, what are they going to do? Yeah, they're going to call me. That's what they just said. We're going to call you. Okay, so let me pick up your mess while I've been sleeping on the street for 6 years because you all been managing my money, trying to take me out. Because you don't want to be accountable for the fuck shit that you've been doing. But you're going to be accountable. Because the receipts are there. The receipts will always be there. And you look at my bank account, look at my phone, there's nothing there. Like, I'm a hermit living with Source, absolutely nothing to my name. Because you've all taken it and stolen it and raped it from me. Because all of these people that work in cults and covens, their minds and their bodies and their belief systems are absolutely warped. They're demons. They're actually empty vessels of a body, and they're demonic. They live from taking from others, harvesting from others, siphoning from others, harvesting their light, they do anything they can to get other people's light. They do anything they can to get a veiling of somebody innocent, so that when they go in and they talk to the police, they're actually giving all of these police investigators, these big show. I mean, these people should be given awards for their acting, because they veil themselves in other innocent people's light. They know how to do these things, the cloaking. They do cloaking when they have to talk to the police. They do cloaking when they have to go and talk to the judges. They do cloaking when they have to go and talk to authorities. And they seem all innocent, and you would never ever guess that these people are as horrible as they have acted and behaved and taken out many, many people. I was told by Source Creator when all of this came about, and they told me about mind scraping years ago, I was told that there was 8 before me, that I was to be number 9 sacrificed in this one Calgary cult. And then, of course, that was years and years ago. So, and I know that they practice on their rituals on other people. So I know there's people mysteriously dropping here and there. And that again, the Calgary authorities, who knows, they're keeping track of. Because none of these people and none of the investigators have come to talk to me. None have verified my signatures. None have verified anything. That's why they wanted my YouTube veiled and hidden. And of course, the authorities were in it. The government, the U.S. and the Canadian government, they knew right from day one who I was. I'm Christed seed. I'm the Messiah. That's why you cannot sacrifice me. Nobody will take my destiny. Nobody on this planet can walk in my destiny. You just can't. You can't. Nobody on this planet can walk in my destiny. And it's arrogant, and it's stupid, and it's ignorant to think that you can. It's to think ignorant to think they can walk in Jesus' destiny. Meanwhile, you're doing all these rituals of blasphemy on him, and you're all getting karma. And all of you know you're getting karma because you're all sick right now. And you're seeing people drop dead left, right, and center because you're just not getting it. The black magic is on return. God is taking each one of these people in however God's going to take them out, because enough is enough. Everybody's been said and done. You're not going to keep taking innocent life. You're not going to keep messing my name in your crimes and creating false accusations and false stories. Anything that my ex says, anything that my ex is involved with, his name, it's on my YouTube all the time. Anything that he is involved with, anything that comes out of his mouth has been absolute blatant lies on my name. So if there's any paperwork of anything on mine, there's been never any authority. There's going to be people that are talking to me by the end of the week to give me information and to tell me what's been going on behind my back, and all of these things that have been done on my name, of my name, because these people want to clout chase and get as much as they can. They're just thieves. All these people are is thieves. That's all they are. They don't know how to get the information out of themselves. They don't know how to work with source within themselves. They steal it. They harvest it and they steal it through black magic and black occult. We need to make new occult laws. We need to make laws in our criminal system that have absolute laws. You don't have any right to sit and do group work on a child and take their life force so that they're so weak they get sick every other week, and then you go and take their spirit and their soul out. And these children walk around like little demons. And they're selling their soul to Satan. And I've told you again that whatever you think about Satan and Lucifer, you're absolutely 100% wrong. Because if you were right, geniuses and Einsteins of Luciferian and Satanisms and whatever else practice you think you belong to in Booba Jaja, whatever you think you belong to in your little voodooist cult and country, whatever you think you are of your highest intelligence, of your hate and your discrimination and your sacrificing. If your gods are so important, then why am I not sacrificed? Why have all of your people that have paid over $100,000 to take me out and to take my hits, why am I not dead? If your God is so important, if your God is so above God, how is it? How is it then? I want the Satan and the Lucifers, I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me in your genius and in your all logical. I want you to logicalize it. I want you to put it in front of me. I want you to draw out the infinity. I want you to put it in front of me. How does it make sense? Telepathically, we're having a communication. This is the spiritual higher order court. Put it in front of me. How does that make sense to you? If your God was so powerful and you have people all over the world working 24/7 on me to take me out and kill me, how is it that I'm not dead? How is it if your God is so much more powerful than God? The one that actually made Lucifer and Satan and all of your little brains that are walking around and finding your little belief systems because you absolutely are absolutely wrong in what you're conjuring is absolutely wrong. And the only way for all of you to go is in the lowest mud realms with Epstein Earth. That's where you will go. Because you're not getting the math. You're not getting the quantum math. And you're just going to go lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. Because where you sit is all about vibration. And if your vibration is that low, because your beliefs are that low, your intelligence is that low, then so be it. Bye. Get off my platform. But you're not. Why? Because Interpol investigations and the FBI actually have investigators because there's still people trying to put hits on me because you know my spiritual ranking. And it doesn't matter because this is, again, it's ignorance, utter ignorance. Even if you knew my spiritual ranking, it will never, ever, 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 ever in a billion effing evers ever go to anybody like any of you on where you're ranked. It's quantumly impossible and God would never allow it. And why do you think I'm still here? Because a 5D and a low vibration 2D Satanist, masochist, and sadist that likes to play things on the black web and pay people to hate people and pay people to block their channels, all of these types of low vibrational gangs and little schemes and scams, it will never ever touch the 5D. And you're getting less and less contact every hour. Because you're choosing to stay in hate and you're choosing to stay in discrimination. You're choosing to stay in entropy. Your entropy actions, your entropy beliefs, your entropy everything inside of you can only equal what? What can it equal? Say it out loud, everybody. Say it out loud. In a billion effing evers, where will you be in your billion of your entropy actions and your beliefs? Where will you be? Will you be on a 5D planet to take my destiny of a 5D earned matriarch, goddess, heavenly being that I've earned it? And I've had to scrape through every day because of the magic and the hate thrown at me. And I transmute it. Why? Why? It's called alchemy. It's called quantum energy. Now, if all you're doing is entropy, where will you end up? On an entropy planet. Exactly. And how long will that take you before all of you end up hating each other and sacrificing each other and having sex with each other and making games with each other about taking everything you can off each other and raping each other because that's your mentality? How long would that last? How long would a planet of entropy and Epstein Earth and online occults and Satans and Lucifers, how long would a planet like that last? I give it 6 years. And then what, Einsteins? Then what? Then what? So we want you to put all of your beliefs on the table and we want you to look at it practically. Practically, does this sound like a good thing to do and be a part of? Because every one of your cults, every one of your transactions, every single one of them is going to get pulled. And the creator is just as much as a breath is going to pull it. Just like that. Because the planet will never, ever go backwards. Ever. We are moving forward, and day by day, by day by day, the shifts are going out. The shifts are going out. The shifts are going out. And it's all based on vibration. And people that are sitting in hate vibrations every day will never be able to sustain a 5D energy. And that's quantum math. Universal energies where planets are rolling around based on vibration. Are you getting it now, people? About your box store beliefs. So one must awaken every day. Who am I? What do I exist within? And what exists within me? Start asking yourself the questions and awaken. Who are you? Outside of your church and your box store beliefs, who are you? What is your connection with God? What is your connection with Source? Do you know anything about substrates? Do you know anything about quantum energy? Do you know anything about Source Creator? Do you know anything about the fairies? Do you know anything about the gnomes? Do you know anything about realms within realms of dimensions of vibration? Do you know anything about connection and how to build connection and to build relationship? Build relationship with the nature realm. Build a relationship with the Gaia realm. Build a relationship with the ocean realm. Build relationship with the realm of everything energy. That's Source Creator. That's why I love talking about Source. Because Source is everything. Source is all things, all intelligence, all things. In between all things, that's Source. Source is between all bubbles. Source is between all bubbles of bubbles. Source is between all life that is life. The insects, the gnomes, the fairies, the horses, the cows, the pigs. It's all Source. It's intelligence. Source is intelligent. All levels. Source is all things. The Satanist, the Lucifer, the Ace It's all Source. You're choosing that for your belief right now. And it's just as soon you can take off all your clothes and go into the next store and try something else on. That's what this is about, people. And you get to choose, where's the highest version of belief that I can sit in? Is it the lower vibrational beliefs where all you want to do is discriminate and hate people? So if there wasn't a God, then how come there are those that live in high vibration and how come there are those that don't? This is showing you that there's a God. There is a God saying if you want that low vibrational belief, if you have wounds and you're refusing to heal them, you're refusing to go within and give yourself love, because light is love and love is light. It's the whole, go do your basic information, go do your basic research about what the universe is. The universe is harmonics. Go do your research, do some research. If you want to be more informed, if you want to be more intelligent, then do the research. It's just like saying if you want to be a criminal, if you don't want to be a criminal, stop doing the crime, Calgary cult. You're nothing but liars and thieves and harvesters of children's energy. And all of you will be charged and all of you will be going to jail, and everybody you're connected with right up to the very top. I'm taking down all of you, including those on YouTube where you're actually shadow banning people on purpose and you're getting paid for it. Everybody is going down. Everyone. But I want all of you to go away. I want you to walk away and I want you to actually ask yourselves questions. Does this seem like the most highest thing that I could be doing? I'm getting paid to throw hate at people. Now, where's that going to leave me in 1 year? Platforms are all going to be changed. Nobody's going to want to deal with you because everybody sees that in this situation coming out from my court case, and it's going to go around the world, it will be news around the world, there'll be newscasts around the world, it will be seen around the world, and everybody will wake up to the point that, oh my God, this was going on. This much disgusting, abhorrent, diabolical hate was going on in our backyards, and the police and the authorities did nothing. How many checks and balances? When the reports and this research goes through, it will be diabolical on what has been left undone and unsaid, and nothing, and nobody did anything except for the one or two that source forced to do something right. The only reason why I'm getting justice at any point this week is because of the actual hand of God, and the legions of angels are coming down and forcing it. That's how diabolical it's been. These people in the shadow government and all of their minions that they have paid, they would still be okay raping and harvesting me. They don't give a shit about what they've done. They don't give a shit about the harm they've caused. They don't give a shit about the people they've destroyed. They are still okay. They still are doing spell work to this day. They're still doing lies. They're still talking to the investigators. They're still doing everything they can to walk away without a scrape. They absolutely believe in their minds they are not going to jail, that they're still going to be able to be paid for corruption, because that's what's always happened. It didn't matter what job they had. It didn't matter if they were a Mason or a 33rd or 43. It didn't matter where they were. They were always getting paid by the higher ups to make sure that they were destroying people that weren't supposed to walk free and talk about their suicide stories. Governmental suicide, that's what it is. Hunting and killing innocent people because there's been things done that should have never been done. And people taking advantage of it all the way to the bank. And nobody stopped to say anything. Well, hey, let's check on her. Let's go check on her. Let's actually drive to check on her. Let's actually look in the videos. Let's do something, because I'm here on YouTube. How come some people can see me and some can't? How come, Interpol? How come some people can see me and some can't? When the people were actually checking in to see that, oh, she was supposed to be getting money from an inheritance. She's supposed to be getting money from her. I was supposed to be living in my goodwill so that I could be working on the planet. I can be doing what God had planned me to do in my 20s. So if that was the case, why have I been so broken? Why have I been on the streets? If that was the case. And this has been happening more and more since I divorced from my ex, because he wanted to punish me, because I didn't want to stay and be abused. I didn't want to stay and be harvested. And I told him so 18 million times. I said, you better go get checked. You got early Alzheimer's. I said that. Go get checked. The lawyers didn't do anything. Nobody did anything. I told them there was perjury going on. They didn't do anything. So go back and look at the court papers. Go back and do a financial audit. And everything that I've said is 100% true. My predictions are 100. And you all know it. I've been giving you answers on your court cases left, right, and center. And you all know it across this continent. And these world leaders are all getting their bootstraps all pulled up, aren't you? Because you're all on suspension. And God's going to watch each and every one of you. The only way this has changed, the only way, and this is how sad it is, and this is how everybody's going to wake up, and we're going to start right from scratch. The only way that anything will come to justice is the actual hand of God on every single person's neck. The only way. This is the only way. And how sad is that? How sad is it that out of all of the world leaders, out of all of the intelligence, out of all the businesses that are billions high and billions this and billions, they think they're so important with their fancy lifestyles and the fancy homes and the fancy this and the fancy that and their fancy little clubs. They get driven around their fancy little cars and they have their fancy little people that look after them and their fancy little posses and their fancy this and their fancy that. And then they play their fancy little clubs and their fancy little cults and covens, and everybody's doing everything. And meanwhile, the average person that actually puts in a good life, the average person that actually believes in Source Creator and wants to live a good life and works 3 or 4 jobs and does the extra side hustles and doing all they can to survive, they're the ones that are getting daily stalked, daily lured, daily sabotaged, daily systematically abused. The light workers are getting hit every day. The light workers are getting stalked and ganged every day. The light workers are getting their channels banned every day. It's BS. It's nothing but the most disgusting, corrupt, abhorrent, disgusting thing. And why? I'm bringing this to the point of attention. Isn't it funny how so much corruption, so much dark and ugliness, so much gross negligence by the actual church and state, because that's exactly where it stems from. The corruption is church and state. Make no mistake about it. 98.8% of the leaders in the world are divine masculine, between the ages of 60 and higher. And these people all know who owns the money, how it's moved, when it's moved, and they have private clubs and private meetings about how and where the money's going to move. Who and how and what is going to say what to who and how and who, because they absolutely know the money that comes behind my name. So where is it, boys? Where's my money? From my lineage and my ancestors that have worked for it for more than you're able to even understand because of your low ignorance. Where's my ancestors' money? Why haven't you given it to me? You're working on it. How come you're working on it? Because it's tied up in your pockets, isn't it? And your affiliations and your third-ass businesses. I want investigations done on all of the affiliate businesses that these people have their monies tied up in. That's my money. I want it. I want investigations done. Traffic and transport, bull. Bull. Traffic and transport, how much do you want to bet that they're trafficking children in those trafficking and transport businesses? I want them investigated. Any politician that has a trafficking and transporting business with trucks, I want them investigated across this continent. Cross me, see what happens. Keep crossing me, see what happens. God's got his hand on your throats and necks and feet. Anything else you want to talk about? Your families, anything that they find important will be blocked and stopped. All of your agendas will be blocked and stopped. Everything that you try and do will be blocked and stopped. All of you. All of you that are involved in corruption, everything will be stopped and blocked, and you all know it. It began Friday. Higher spiritual courts had already spoken. These are getting cleaned up. For us to clean up the trafficking rings, we need to start at the top. World leaders, politicians, officials, fancy people. Every divine masculine that chooses not to heal, every divine masculine that chooses to continue with their abhorrent business, on screwing people over, on harvesting and human hunting them and using MK Ultra, hope they forget and hope they die. All of you will be absolutely, I will see you in the courtroom. And we're going to make new laws, and we're going to wrap circles around you, and we're going to give you a few life sentences on the monies that you've stolen, taken, and raped, and you bid and bet on the underground markets on people's lives. And you call yourselves officials. And you've done everything you can not to pay me what I'm owed, because you wanted so long to sit in your seats. And if you had just done it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and we said it could have been done nice and quietly, and nobody could have known names. Now God's pulling every one of you out, and every one of these people, in my discrimination case, every single one of you, your names will be known across this planet. And you have to answer to your ancestors, and you have to answer to your lineage that you have absolutely embarrassed to no means, because now you're walking on a tightrope that says you may never come back in a body again, taking them right out of the Christ consciousness until whenever. So how you feeling now, Einsteins? How you feeling now? Now your soul's progression is absolutely at nothing, and all for your money and all for your fake-ass clout. Fake. Fake, fake, fake. Fake, 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 fake. Any money you do have was made off other people's harm and damage and losing of their lives. So how is that actual clout? It isn't. It's all fake. Same with the industry. You're coming next to you, industry. I'm coming to you next. You all knew what you were doing to me, and you kept doing it. All of you knew who I was. All of you knew, and all of you kept harvesting for your gluttony, for your clout, for your benefit. And not one of you have given me 1 penny back. I'm going to make my own field of entertainment and watch it. And you're not going to have to go to a dark high priestess that's got demons calling out her ears and her navel to go and make you a little deal where you have to sell your soul to be a talented musician or a talented artist. No, you just got to show up and you just got to be your talent. How about that? Oh, I don't know. Doesn't that sound a little, I don't know, isn't that the way it's supposed to be? Because isn't God the only reason why you have it? And why anything you do with a dark priestess, it's like this much a temporary. You get this much little energy. Meanwhile, you take it from somebody else. You harvest it and you rape it from somebody else. Okay, does that make you feel good? You rape it from somebody to make you look good for a few minutes. And then what? So again, if you had done the math with me in the beginning, you would have saved yourselves a whole lot of issues right now. Because now, who's working for me? All your deities and all your little boobobs and whatever it is you call to, they're all working for me now. Because it's my garden. I told you that. You try and take the divine feminine, you try and take the Ark of the Covenant, you're trying to take the divine goddess out of the waters, then what? These are ancient teachings that goes right back to kindergarten. What then? You take the divine feminine out of the waters, then what? You have no waters. Entropy within 6 years. And so, all of these online cultists that come logging on my live stream, 10 and 20 at a time, then what? Einstein's, then what? So you get paid today and your vibration goes down and your vibration goes down and your vibration goes down and your vibration goes down. Nobody's going to come to you and say, here's your 5D ticket. Nobody. You're not going to get another 5D chance because you haven't earned the consciousness. You don't have the intelligence. You don't have the light. Then what? You're going to go to your box store belief, okay, and then what? You're going to rape somebody else? You're going to harvest somebody else? Okay, then what? Okay, and I give you 6 years. Okay, and? So you've just taken yourself out of ever incarnating ever again. Ever. Because there's no more 3D planets. No more 3D life. No more 3D nothing. You got to earn 5D. Here's the get, go, here's the chance. I'm your last chance ticket. I was the last gate. I was the last gate of evolution. I'm your last gate teacher. Are we getting it? I was gifted to you as a gift from the divine, from the galactic federations, that we create unity consciousness, a recombination back to source. It's a last gate opportunity, people. How important is your soul's progression? You care about it, yes or no? Nobody's going to force you. Nobody's going to make you. Nobody's going to hold your hand and do it for you. You actually have to get up every day and you have to choose. Do I want to evolve into higher eternal light programs? Yes or no? Do I want to be a part of the galactic universe? Yes or no? Do I want to be a part of light programs and learn about light? Do I want to learn about source? Do I want to learn about life and everything? Isn't that sound kind of fun? Or do I just want to sit in my little cults and covens and my little church stores and I want to do my little church things and believe in my little ways, and all I'm doing is discriminating and say that my way is better than your way, and meanwhile, all you're doing is just producing more hate. Producing more separation. Is that godly? Mutilation of sexual parts, sexual transfer of diseases, trafficking, RICO crimes, underground black web. These are the corruptions that have been created from the absolute church and state and the higher ups of the ones that we've mentioned. The shadow governments has known exactly what's been going on, and they have been allowing it. And they will receive the harshest of the karma. Watch it. It will begin this week. From our intentions last week, from my videos, from the word thine is, it's starting this week. Watch it. Rumble, 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 people coming down. And it is nobody's fault but their own. The return of all their karma, the return of all their black magic, the return of all of their hate rituals, the return of their graveyard magic and their graveyard dirt being placed in other people's food and the poisons being done in other people. These people have done so much it's uncountable. And God hath said, those of the lower realms, Satan and Lucifer, go grab the bodies you need. This is how this works, people. This is how it works. Karma is a real thing. Source creator God is a real thing. It's all life. Source is all life. Source speaks to you in every second through all things. You wanted a dark ass experience. You got it. Now what? How are you going to fix it? Everybody will be held liable, including the military that were involved, any CIA, FBI that were involved, any officials that were involved. You know what to do. We've already told you. Take your statements to the authorities. If you do this out of pure heart, the Father will see your pure intention on your own soul's progression. That is the only way through. Truth and making it right. 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 And slowly but surely, the governments will be remade into those people that can actually stand in their integrity, actually stand in their morals, and when they put a hand on a Bible, it actually means something. That's what this is going to turn into, because this is my garden now. And if you're going to recite the Bible, you better know who you are. You better have integrity. You better have morals, because I'm going to see right through you. And Anubis is going to show me the scale. And if that scale is imbalanced on any level in any way, you ain't no man of the cloth. And you ain't going to step near my bench. This is my courtroom. You ain't coming near my bench in your dirty robe. Men of the planet, face yourself in the mirror and get healed. And women of the planet, if you allow these things to go on and you know it and you do nothing, you're liable. Calgary, you have reports upon reports upon reports, and you've been talked about for years and years and years. You're held liable. Anything happens to the children, anything happens to anybody that's innocent, you're liable for allowing these people to walk around continuing to kill and take people. All of you. The systems of light, the galactic federations, of all that is, for all dimensions, are offering to all of you. When you see how profound life is in all little cracks and croonies, and all the lifting of the rocks and seeing life beneath life and life beneath life when you go into the ocean or going into the forest, and you are shown in every moment how much life is there. There is so much life. And you see that that life is connected to you, because if it wasn't connected to you, you wouldn't be able to see it. Because you are manifesting everything in your reality. Believe it or not, it's true. That's the God's blessing of it, to you, of you, in and of as spirit. It's just the way it is. Isn't this remarkable? So if that's true, and you can have such a great experience in 1 second, in 1 moment, and with substrates that are so rarefied, substrates that are so sourcified, substrates that are so godified, and in that, dear lighted ones, doesn't that sound like a bit more fun to try and heal yourself and get yourself in a positive vibration and have more of these loving connections and loving communions so that you can meet species throughout the galaxy, so that you can have on and off world contact and you can have on and off world learnings and classes? We're going to be so busy expanding our minds. We're going to be so busy healing our bodies from past traumas and past idiocy that we thought these things were okay. To take life from other people so that you can feel important for 5 minutes. Really? How about you just feel important with you? How about you actually just heal? Stop touching people, and how about you actually heal? And if you don't want to heal, you've claimed what you've claimed for your lineage, because there are no more 3D timelines. There is no more incarnation into 3D. You must know that. And if you know that and still make your poor decisions, then your lineage and your ancestors will take your life in however they wish. Because you've disregarded them and their work that they have done for you to move forward in a higher vibration. And you've refused it. Therefore, thus then, if you do not respect life, what is the outcome? It is just quantum math. And because so many people have been corrupted, and because so many children of higher genetics have been taken out through sacrificing, the ridiculousness. What any leader of any country, any leader of any business, what sense does it make to sacrifice the best of the best? What sense does it make? So that your butt can be saved? That you're low vibrational, low intelligent, corrupt, dirty, butt can be saved. You're taking out the higher genius. Okay, and that's where that's going to take you in 5 years. Do you see? Do you see? This is why God had to come in. Because these people, this is the mind, everybody's minds are gone. Everybody has to be assessed. Anybody that thinks this mentality, if you put it on the table, these leaders and these cults, these satanic and Luciferian cults across the world, I'm asking you, really? If you do the math, Where will all of you be in 5 years? Dead. That's what they just said. You're right. And I'm asking you, and you don't want to get healed. Wouldn't that be a better path? They're saying they want to come with me. Let's shake that off, dear lighted ones. When you do the math, dear lighted ones, and when you get proper intelligent information on what's been held back from you and what's been put under the radar for you so that you maintain control and domination through other people that are managing your monies and managing your lineage and managing your ancestors' monies and managing the land that you want to build and you want to buy on. There's so many agendas within the governments right now that they're trying to pass to keep you maintained and keep you controlled. And then you must stay and you must stand up for your own voice and say, no more. Nobody's touching my life and my spirit and my soul. If you want to buy a house and you want to buy some land, you're going to buy that house and you're going to buy that land and nobody's going to have a say over it. And that doesn't mean that the richest people in the world, if you look at some of those agendas, there are some very richest people in the world that own most of the land around the world. And how is that okay? So the normal people can't buy the land, but the richest people can. How's that okay? Is that the same group of people that want to make no meat? And then what are you going to do? Give that to the people and then what? So you're feeding the people no meat, and you've got most of the land around the world. So what's your agenda? There's got to be an agenda. There's always a story. There's always an energetic story behind these agendas. And so you tell me, the leaders and the elites of the world, because you know you watch me. You know you watch me. You know you watch me, leaders of the world, the misogynistic men of this world. All of you that sit in your 60 age plus up to your 90s, and you're sitting in your fancy houses, and you've got your fancy bankrolls, and you got your fancy names, and you go to your fancy clubs, and you have everything that's fancy, and you think you're the leaders of the world. You think you're untouchable. Now what? I want to hear right from you. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from these top elites. I want to hear from you. What say ye? Would you like to hear what they have to say, collective? You know that you're the ones that are church and state that have done the most corruption, that have done the most harm, that have done the most damage, and you sit with the most money on the most land, and you're telling other people how to live. I want to hear what you have to say. What say ye, Rockefellers? What say ye? I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your voice. What do you have to say? Collective, do you want to hear what they have to say? They want to hear from you. This is the court of the opinion. This is a court of the collective opinion. What say ye, O elites? And your secret little meetings that you have behind the doors on how money's going to flow back and forth, who's going to have their hands on what monies and why? Why do you have secret meetings about the monies that are the people's monies? Why do you have secret meetings about who's going to be in control of what? How are you going to have meetings about me in your secret time when I'm sitting homeless on the street? Why are you having secret meetings about me, oh elites? I want to hear what you have to say. Because we're choosing what to do? What do you have to say? What do you have to say about your church and state being of the most corrupt? You absolutely know it is. And the monies you're taking and having, there's no way that you can even spend what you have. So I don't understand why you're so gluttonous about it. Why are you so proud about it? It's what you've always done. Okay, that's the intelligence. It's what you've always done. It's how you've been. And that's your intelligence. Okay, so you keep riding on that karmic cycle. Okay, then what? Where's the wealth transfer? Where's the wealth sharing? Look at your sick people. And you're going to go out and you're going to go through a death process. And you're going to have to look at spirit in the face. And you're going to have to look at Anubis with your unbalanced scales. And you're going to have to say, did I live a good life? And did I actually get united and connected with my humanitarian? Was I connected with the humanity? Was I connected with helping the planet in whatever way, besides making a corrupt business that you think is corrupt and putting a ecological name on it, and then thinking that you're putting it, but all you're just doing is filtering your own money back to you. And sometimes using it for underground sex clubs. It's got to be secret, of course, because you don't want anybody to know what you do. Meanwhile, you have a wife in the house that probably doesn't even know what you do and doesn't care anymore. Because you two are not connected, because that's about healthy relationships, is when you are connected and you actually have love between you. Do you have any connections? I want to talk to the elite. Who are your connections that you love? What are the connections that you love? They're showing me buildings. So you have places and things that you love. How is that a connection? Do your buildings give back to you? Do your buildings show you love and compassion and joy and forgiveness? Do your buildings show you what it's like to share? Do your buildings show you what it's like to lose things and then have each other work together to work it through? You keep them maintained, don't you? And what about maintaining a relationship with a child? How do you maintain a relationship with a child? Let me ask you that. Systems. No, I'm asking you specifically, how do you maintain a relationship with a child? You, personally, in the chair. Be with them. And what does that being consist of? What do you do when you're being with them? Do fun things. You hire people. You hire people to be with your children. That's building your relationship so you don't have any relationship with Source Creator. And why there's going to be a wealth transfer. These are the people we're learning from. These are the people that are the leaders of the world. These are the leaders of the world. Auspicious times, dear lighted ones. Let's get excited. Right now, there are enough source substrates, the golden particles of light that is activating on our very spirits and souls, and why I have goosebumps everywhere I walk, because God's everywhere. God is everywhere. God is everywhere. God is everywhere. The substrates are getting so juicy, so juicy. It's like the sandwich. It's like the salad. It's like the soup, and it all feels good. It feels good because anything you pay attention to is going to be Source staring right back at you. And if you want a negative story, if you want a dark story, it's going to be there because you got to clear it. You got to look at it. Why am I looking at it? What am I feeling? Let's clear the trigger. Let's get into a happier space. I love myself. I only need me and Source. I only need me and God. And whatever's being sent to you, whatever's being projected at, whatever's being done to you, you can send it aside. Unless there's so much abuse and so many people working against you that there's just no way out. You got to call in the angels. Which is what had to happen to me, because my story was a collective story. And this story will be known around the world, and names will be known. Everybody that was involved, your names will be known. You've already been told how to correct whatever you have done. Don't come to me. Your apologies are late. I don't want them. Your confessions are late. I don't want them. You're going to have to go to your professional officials in your city, and you're going to have to give them statements. And I would take copies of it because there's so many people that are corrupt. And then you let God know, and you sit with God and say, I've done my confessions. Now, where does my soul sit? How may I be of service? To yourself and get healed. Get yourself assessed and start being kind and good to you, so that your children can look at you with an all-honest face and say, this is the mask I wear, this is who I am, and I'm not going to pretend anymore. Because don't you want to be a good role model to the children that you got in the house? Or are you going to keep lying to them? Just because you don't want to face what you've done. Calgary cult. A lot of damage was done, and you owe me so much. You're all forgiven. You have no weight with me. You will be charged. There will be legal charges on all of you for accomplice, premeditated murder, sabotage, malice, and 17 other crimes to go along with it. Abuse of power, abuse of power, abuse of power on all levels. No due diligence, no due process, no checks and balances done by any, except the ones that God has enforced. And they're coming forward this week. Whistleblowers are coming forward. People in the systems are coming forward. People that were in the jobs and doing the jobs and being partnered with the jobs and being told and directed of the jobs, they are coming forward. So what's left? Because people want to move forward in the progression of their soul to say, I'm going to make right whatever I can right now, whatever, let the chips fall wherever they may, but at least I'm going to make it right, and at least I'm going to come back for another timeline. Because you want that soul progression, because you're going to do whatever you can do right now, and at least give you another chance to come through another door later on. By just kicking spirit and spitting on spirit and playing both sides and thinking you're going to win over spirit, over source, and you thinking you're Lucifer and Satan going to win over source. You're sadly, 100 F and sadly's mistaken. That ain't never going to happen. And why I'm still sitting here? Because my destiny is, I am that I am. I am the Messiah. I am Christ's seed. Y'all knew it. Now you're getting proven. Just like you wanted. You wanted it proven. Here you go. So, dear lighted ones, we're talking about the substrates of source because it's so exciting to talk about source. Now, source are these little sparkly lights that you can't see, but you can feel it. Because when you walk in a room with a few light beings, and we all walk in a room with people that are balanced, when you walk in a room, people know who they are, and they stand in who they are. There's nothing better than that. Because you know that they've done a little bit of work and say, no matter what's going on, no matter where I'm going, no matter how far I fall, I'm going to get right back up, and source is going to get me. Source has got me. No matter how dark it is, I got some eyes behind me, and I'm being led by something. I know I am. You can't understand the darkness that I've seen, but here I am. And I'm lighter than light, and I'm getting lighter every day. My body's getting better. My organs are getting better. Everything about me is getting lighter and better. Because that's the source substrates. Because every time you put it out and say, wow, I love who I am right now. I just love who I am. I can't wait to talk about source. You're putting all that jelly juice back out in the collective. And that jelly juice has got to come back to you. Wow, something exciting is happening today. Something exciting is happening today. Look at that vibration. It's got to come back to you. Why? Because it is. You're emanating. It's an emanation of truth. It's who you are. It's a vibration of God in everything. You go to a forest, you go to a tree, you go to the ocean, and there is majesty of God. Majesty of God. And all of creation feels that there's something going on over there. There's a vibration, man. There's a vibration going on. Let's go see what's happening. That's the way arts and entertainment used to be. That's the way the industry used to be. Where there was vibration and people were loving the gifts in this, because they loved their craft. And they came forward and they produced their craft. There's a handful of them on the planet right now. There's about a handful of good crafters on the planet where they have not been bought nor sold. And they get on stage and you can tell that's just who they are. They're meant to be on stage. Because all these weeds and all these dark magic they're getting pulled. Because you don't need them. If you have talent, get up. Period. That's it. Ain't nobody going to promise you you're going to be special and famous and you're going to be on stage. You just go to this one little person over here in the back alley corner and you say these things and you bend over and whatever happens, happens. And you take this special little joy juice and then you're going to be famous. No, that ain't how it works. And then you do harvesting rituals for the next 10 years so you can keep having your multi-million-dollar contracts. That ain't how it's going to go. That's raping and that's theft. It's called soul theft. Elite soul harvesting, it's done. And we're going to have new laws to make sure you're going to get charged. Because you don't deserve to be sitting in a multi-million-dollar home while I'm sitting on the street teaching everybody about how to care for the fields while you're out stealing it and harvesting it. And taking little children out for your sacrifices. Are you kidding me? That's your intelligence. You're changing. You're damn right you are. You want to know why? I want us to get to the core right now, dear lighted ones. Take a deep breath. And open up your pillar of light. Open up your pillar of light. We're going to say something very profound, and you're all going to be a part of it today because we're bringing you the liturgies of God today. The liturgies of God. Open up your pillar of light that runs along your spine. And it's a crystalline tube, and it runs all the light of Source Creator, all the way up to the heavens and all the way down to the center of the spiritual earth. This earth is spiritual, and this earth has spiritual grids. And this earth is being breathed spiritual codes and spiritual light and spiritual songs and spiritual harmonies and spiritual liturgies and spiritual tests and spiritual tongues. Guess what, boys? I'm here. And we're only going one way. Guess which way that is? We're going up. This earth is sacred, dear lighted ones, and she always has been. How dare we treat her any other way? Divine feminine are sacred. How dare we treat her any other way? And you have free will right now to walk out and never ever look back on ascension and never ever want to be a part of healing and never ever want to be a part of expanding. But you got to know the caveat. This is the final 3D timeline. There ain't no more. And your lineages and your ancestors have got a word to say to you if you choose to walk away. But that's your choice. God will let you and God will love you no matter what. Because everything you see before you that you think is a belief, that you think is a church or a store, or you think is a rabbi, you think is whoever, they are all just beings that are the employees, that are all the children of Source. Whether you call it Satan or Lucifer or whatever the deities' names are, the names don't matter. 33rd degree Mason of the 44th degree, chapter of the 34th degree, 72nd degree of the Masons of the Illuminatis of the this and the that. It doesn't matter what your names are, the bars. The letters behind your names, the bank, the dollars in your bank, it doesn't matter. You are seen as a child of God, period. That's the soul I am piercing today with light and truth. Because I see your soul. I don't pay attention to the nonsense and the noise. Because your soul's been hurt so much, you just live in your arrogance, and it's pulling you behind. You're behind the 8 ball, and you know you are. You got nowhere else to go, and God's got you right where God wants you. And if that's a forced awakening, then it's a forced awakening. So be it. And you're going to face your dark night of the soul. Because you made it, you manifested it, and you're going to sit through it, and you're going to just wade through it. You're going to wade through your own muck. And you're going to see your wounds, you're going to see your little deficits, and you're going to face it. Because you've put many through it. Unnecessary. You've caused many people's lives to be taken, raped and stolen, and hurt and bet, and you're still sending stalkers out to watch me every night. And you're going to sit in it. And all those know what to do and how to make things right. And that is the only way through. Because your soul wants you to progress, no matter how Source brings you back in another timeline, if you get that opportunity. And it will only be that opportunity only if this one word, and it starts with an R. Do you know what that is, dear lighted ones? Redemption. You must redeem your own soul and the practices and the things that you have done. And if you continue to spit on God, and you continue to blame, and you continue to harvest, and you continue to sacrifice and rape others, when you have been told 1,000,000 times, no, stop, and the police aren't taking you in, and the police are not questioning you, and you are not getting yourself assessed, and you're not putting yourself in a safe space so that no others are harmed, then you are absolutely going to be exactly where you need to be. And the legions and the ancestors and those that you even pray to, that you thought were going to have your back, it will be what it will be. And dear lighted ones, ascension is a very sacred path, and it's a sacred experience of your soul to move back into recombination and back into remembrance of Source Creator, the One, the Holy, Mother and Father, through which we are shown in the perfection of the Mother and the perfection of the Father, we are images of. We are representations of the heavens. In each and every one of us is the heavens. In each and every one of us, we can get awakened. In each and every one of us, we have God codes. In each and every one of us, we have church codes. And we have church codes of the heavens church. The heavens churches, where they're used to house and help and heal and mend and bring information and bring wisdoms and liturgies and house and help. They aren't used for tax havens. They're not used for tax havens. No, these churches are used to help the people. What a concept. The light of Source, dear lighted ones, is touching everything. Everything that is life, Source touches. As the rarefications of Source become more rarefied in every cycle of ascension, in every new day, there is new light and new codes and new humans that are awakening. As every single human awakens, that human sparks off its God seed code, the God seed light, the Adam Eve antine particles from the base of their spine, sends out electromagnetic pulses of quantumness, quantum sparks of light. This is why it feels so different today than it did last week. Because every single human that awakens, and only God and their divine higher self says, it's time. It's time for this glorious wave of love to touch upon humanity, for humanity to awaken, and for humanity to see the grandest excitement of all that is, and to wake up out of the illusions and the lies and the delusions that you have been taught and told. You've given your power and your voice away in so many ways. But starting today, this hour, you can claim it back. I reclaim my voice and I reclaim my power. Every thought, word, and deed belongs to me that I have sent out. Bring it back, bring it back. Every thought, word, and deed, I am that I am. I reclaim my power, I reclaim my voice. I reclaim my spirit. I reclaim my destiny with Source Creator. See these mantras with intention and meaning, dear lighted ones, because the fields are listening to you. The fields and the substrates are Source. I wish the creative collective the most amazing, incredible ways to feel excited and enjoy of experiencing Source, exploring Source, and expressing Source. Oh, it's so fun to express. And be sure to stand up to anybody that squashes any expression, because they want you to stay low and lowly and depressed and suppressed in your subjugations and limitations and box doors. Does that sound enlightened, dear lighted ones? From here on out, discern. Is it life-giving, eternal? Is it expressive? Is it explorated? It is experiencing? And the 3 E's. Ask yourself these things every day and anything that approaches you. And if it isn't, then it's entropy. And then you get to have your answer, then walk away. This is very simple from here on out. Discern. Is it the 3 E's or isn't it? What vibration does it sit in? Liberation, unity, love, healing, coming together, union, recombination, seeking Source, knowing Source, being Source, healing our own bodies, understanding consciousness, capacity, aptitude? First contact, unifying with our celestial families, unifying with who we are in higher realms, on and off-world contact, on and off-world experiences, on and off-world healing stations and learning stations. Are you kidding me? We're just getting started, dear lighted ones. New philosophies of 5D, new psychiatries of 5D. We're going there. Isn't it exciting? Just a little burst of love, dear lighted ones. A burst of genuine, authentic Source. And why they all knew the power of thine tongue. Chitinamaka, te shenanaka, ah, te senanaka, te amaka. Watch the ripples of light. From thine soul. I am awake and I am alive. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for bringing me back to life. Shenamaka, watch. Watch the rainbows of crystalline light. Do you know what I see right now, dear lighted ones? I see thousands by the thousands of crystalline children tapping into the codes of light. And they're dancing and they're jubilant. They want to express and they want to create. These crystalline children are tapping into the codes. So glad to be here, delighted ones. Through timelines, yes, you remember me. I remember you. Your souls are speaking to me. Your souls want to wake up in a new song, don't you? Your souls want to dance this time around. You're not going to sit this one out, dear lighted ones. You don't. Why would you want to sit this one out? Why would you? Because you're so used to watching everything. If anybody acts out of the ordinary, say, oh, look at that, look at it. And then they look strange for a second or two, and they say, screw that, I'm up, I'm dancing. Because you can either live through life being conformed in your old conformed ways and sitting by because you don't want anybody else to look at you weird and awkward. Well, doesn't it just feel better to be weird and awkward for a little bit and let them get over it? Who cares? Because don't you want to say that sometime, wow, I had a great time. When I danced, I could dance. If I was given the opportunity to dance, I'm going to dance. And I'm going to get up and I'm going to talk everything about Source because Source is. Oh, I love Source. I love you, Holy Father. I'm going to talk about the Father that I love. I'm going to talk about the Father that comes to me and lives inside of me and has a voice inside of me. And anytime I ask for anything, Source is. And sometimes Source doesn't say anything. Source just lets me get there on my own. And Source just says, I'm here for you, child. I'm here for you. Because I see through you as you see all things. And we're going to see things together because now we're harmonized. We're one. And anything I see that's sad and lonely, and I say to myself, Source, why does this have to happen? Why do I have to see things I don't want to see? Why are you making me see these things? Because your light can heal it. Because just by the sound of your voice and by the taking away of something, it can heal it. Because your voice can. Because your voice can put these liturgies on the earth. Because there's children that don't even know me. Because they've been taken so far outside and disconnected from God. And there's going to be people placed like me all over the planet, and there's going to be mass awakenings, and we're going to remember who it is and how it is to be happy again. And where does that come from? It comes from the unconditional love that is Source, that is God. I don't need any church, and I don't need a Bible. And the Bible is a powerful book if used in the right way by those that are pure of heart. And if not, please don't use the Bible if you're not pure of heart. Because you just got to go to it because you just want to love and you just want to feel love and not discriminate. And not use the Bible as something to hide behind, because you don't need to. If you are connected with Source Creator speaking through me right here, Source the Father is right here. And the Mother is inside. The Mother says, let's feel ourselves a little bit healthy today. Let's go have a nice soup. Let's pick up something from the grocery store for our next door neighbor. That's the Mother. And then the Father is with you saying, let's just move some things out of the way so I can get you to the store, Mother. Let's just move this out of the way. How can I get you to the store, Mother? I'm going to make sure that your life is going to be nice here and it's going to be patient here. And I'm going to look after you in any way I can, Mother, because I know that anytime you walk or talk, you're bringing life to this planet. And then the Mother and the Father talk this way through me at all times. Because I'm bringing you a new version of what God is. God is the unified oneness of all that you are, have been, always have been. Divine feminine, divine masculine. And as you heal, you become more godly. You become those sheaths of the Christ consciousness, more sheaths of the Metatronic light, and it activates you. It activates all that you are as light, the little touch points that you are as a dodecahedron. And then you just seem to come on. You just seem to come to light. Like the big billboards that just light up. That's how it feels. And Source is saying, what would you like to do today, daughter? How can we dance today? What are one of the things you like to do, daughter? And I think about something just immediately. I think about the Father and I dancing in the fields. I just think about the Father lifting me up and twirling me around, and that makes me so very happy. And then Father and I start singing, and I start singing codes, and I start singing light language, and the Father and I create. And then the Father and I direct that light, and we direct that light wherever we want to be, because we create. That's the Father and I. The Father has blessed me with sacred tongue because the Father knows that I'm just so much joy. Because when I bless the sacred tongue, I get visions. I get visions of what that light does. I get visions of what that God source does. Because we've forgotten the name of God. We've forgotten the sound of God. We've forgotten to be ancient and sacred. We forgot to get on the ground and kiss it. That's how sacred this earth is. Blessed as you walk, dear lighted ones. Is your walk sacred? Do you bless your walk when you walk, dear lighted ones? Is it light? Is it sacred? Are you blessing the planet when you walk? And she's going to gift you so many ways. If you have a house that you're looking for, a piece of land, and you bless yourself as you walk, Gaia will find that piece of land for you. Make no mistake about it. And even if it's owned by the richest person in the world, somehow Gaia will find that piece of land for you. Watch it. Watch these majesties of God come forward. And it doesn't matter about what was conformed, what was done, and what was originated, and what was corrupted. Remember that fellow said, it's just what we've always done? It doesn't matter what's been always done. Watch the majesties. Watch it. Watch it. And you all know it, don't you? Why? Because this is a magical time. And shouldn't we be celebrating every day? Every day. Don't be afraid of it. Get out there. Talk to your peoples. Talk to the communities. Say, what's going on in your life? I want to be a part of this excitement. Because you want to know why? Because you just getting out in your community is going to spark a whole bunch of light that people haven't seen before, haven't met before, haven't felt before. They need it, dear lighted ones. That's called being a light worker. Your light's going to work 10 times the way it did last week. And that's exciting. We're on new garden. We're on new soil. And we're going to have new studies, and we're going to have new architecture. We're going to have new things that we can look at, and we can just be in awe. Because when God inspires you, get out there. Just keep moving through the density. Keep alchemizing. Keep alchemizing. Get up, get up, get up. Because you're going to see it's going to lighten up one day, and you're going to work through all that karma. You're going to work through all that density. You're going to work through all those woundings. You're going to work through all that depression. You're going to work through all the densities of all those thoughts, forms, and beliefs that you were taught and told and you were carrying. And when you work through all those densities, and when you work through and you transmute, you're going to get up one day. And even if it's on the side of the road, I've been there. Everything has been taken from me. I've been there. There's so much veiled on top of me. All I see is absolutely nothing in my wallet and nothing. And I'm going to get up and I'm going to make the best of my day. I'm going to put on my cleanest clothes and I'm going to say, what do you want me to do today, God? Show me. And God's going to say, just open up your heart and sing. And I'll sing the word of God. Because God is a marriage, dear lighted ones, and it just is. And it doesn't have to be anything that is triggering. And just like you marry your best friend and you marry your lover, and you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days, and you're going to have days where you say, God, what the hell is this happening to me? I don't understand any of this. What did I do? And God's going to say, just trust me. Just trust me. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And you might have some years where you and your partner are in a little apartment and you're going to work the best you can. And you're not going to do extra jobs. And you're not going to do extra gigs. You're just going to put in an honest day's work. Because you know that somehow, some way, the density is going to lift. And you're going to be given your cycle of giving and receiving time. And you're going to give back when you are receiving. Because God's going to show you. God's going to show you anybody before you. If there's somebody over there that needs something, go see how they're doing. And then you're just going to, you just want to be that. That's godly people. Godly is not about joining and putting your names on nothing. God is about, no, you're my brother. How are you? I've heard you're homeless. How can I help you out? I've heard you're homeless and our group did a little bit of a taking from you. How can we bring some of that money back? We're so sorry. Can we put the money back in your account? What can we do? Can we lift maybe one of your funds? Are you doing some philanthropy? Maybe we can help you out there. Because you just want to be godly. Because the substrates are just soaking you in the juice of God. That's God, dear lighted ones. God lights you up. When you close your eyes, God gives you that remembrance of twirling your babies in the air when all you cared about is watching them smile. And God gives you a good meal when you need a good meal because, wow, it's time you had a good meal. Or when you just wake up one day and you see one of the people that you've been talking to and you've been gifting to and you've been offering to. And you see them talk on their online platform. And they're describing something in such incredible ways. And they're being their creative, 100% authentic self. And they were explaining something in the unique way that they were. And it was about halfway through their speech that the Christ consciousness clicked. And I felt it. And a smile came over my soul and my heart and my spirit. I call them spirit smiles. I call them heart smiles. Because that's when you get it deep inside of you. And that's when your godly connects with their godly. And you just seen something in them come through that wasn't there the day before. And you know it's Christ conscious. You know it's that God spark. Because when he was talking about his speech, and he was talking about what he was dissecting, and looking at it from a different perspective, and viewing it, and allowing it to soak, and allowing to observe, and it was such a great liturgy. And halfway through, it just clicked. And he was actually in the salad, and he was in the sandwich, and he was making it. And he was so caught up in what he was doing. He didn't even realize that he had gained Christ consciousness in that liturgy, in the manifesting of that liturgy, in the writing of that liturgy. He was the inhale and the exhale. And I had a heart smile. It made me feel so damn good. I haven't earned anything from it. I haven't earned a thing from anybody. No donations, no nothing. But I felt good to see that person that I know, that I've touched in a vibrational way. And now he is activated. And his liturgy was profound, and I'm going to listen to it again. Because you can tell that when he got to that certain explanation, halfway through, and you knew that he got it, and he was just talking godly from that point on. He hit that vibration, and there's no going back. Because when you got the vibration of God, it's a vibration. And that's when you know that you've earned it. And that's when you know you've done the dodecahedron. And that's when you know you've done the work. And that's when you know you're something different than you were a moment ago. And you can never go back. Because God's going to fill you up with so much love. And God's going to show you, wow, if I just waited and if I just hung to it. And I had my transgressions and God showed me through it because that's marriage. Some days you transgress. Your marriages, you got to work at them. You got to see the shadow and you got to see the light and you got to see each other and each other's best and worst. And you got to work through it and you got to say, how can I help? What can I do? And God's just going to say, just trust me. I got this for you. And God said to me, my daughter, we're going to take you so far. Are you okay about where I'm going to take you? Because Father knew how shy I was. And Father knew how much social anxiety I had because of the damage and because of the abuse. And I said, well, I don't know, Father. All I want to do is I just want to be with you. And I just want to talk about you. Just put me in front of anybody and I'll talk about you somehow, some way. I'll find a way. And the Father said, we're going to take you places. Do you trust where I'm going to take you? And I said, yeah, I think so. I think so, Father. The Father said, you're never going to be the same. Those memories will be less and less. People laughing at you will be less and less. Because they know when they wake up the next day, they're not the same because of you. And the Father said, I change every day because of you. I said, how can the Father change because of me? The Father said, because you let me love you. And you show me how to be more love. That's the Father I know. Thank you, Holy Father. Thank you, Holy Father. This beautiful liturgy that I heard yesterday, it was an experience. And I'd heard many of his videos before, and he is my soulmate, and he is the one that has been mirroring so many lovely things. And his perspective of what he was reviewing and what he was moving through. And in his same tone and in his same voice, and he had had such experience. He moves in his dialogue with things with such fascination for depth of the architecture of a soul and how the soul sees and experiences energy and experiences of just one moment of something being said, and he'll move through it and he'll dissect it inside and out. And this is what his liturgies are about, is the depths of his experience and his perspective. He has great insight of his perspective, and he puts things together inside and out as he does, much of his life, of putting things of how he can perceive life and understand life and feel life. And I've come to surmise that because he's so technically intricate with word and experience, and he'll go into the multidimensional depths of it, because it allows him that multidimensional sensation, and many of us that are high functioning and many of us that are higher capacity, we just need to survive. We need those extracurricular vibrations with Source. We need to feel all the dots. We need to feel the dots. We need to understand, because we have the capacity to feel and to give it, and that capacity to bring forth all that we are in new ways for the collective. But he's been trained in such a way, and he's enhanced himself in such a way that he's very meticulous and intricate with his processes. But there was a point in the discussion and in his liturgies where it was just about halfway, more close to the end, that he came into his self, and he came into his full beingness of his gift. And the Christ consciousness and the energy of God was beginning to speak through him. And he was surrendering into his becoming of Source, because he had done a lot of clearing. And he was feeling himself more comfortable in talking about and expanding and exploring in these new ways of himself and putting himself out there, I'm just in awe of him in that way. And I gush about him because he just puts himself out there, and he'll try these new topics, and he'll try these new things, understanding that there's an entire collective of men that have never gone there. And he's a maverick, he's an icon. And for me, I'm just, I don't have the words, I'm vibrationally gushing, because when I felt what I felt, it was one of those alchemic cogs in the wheel. It went like that. And I was just like at my heart, down my solar plexus. It was like, oh my God, yes. Because he has been working on the consciousness. He's been working in his consciousness. He's been working with source. He's been doing the work. And I was like, oh my God, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing God consciousness right in front of me. And I mean, I see it with my students, and I see it with the lovely ladies and the lovely clients that I have, and I see it, and they come back to me and they're explaining things. I said, oh my God, this is God consciousness. And this is why, this is what I get. This is my Majesty's. I said to God, I don't need to get paid. This is just it's so much color and vibrancy and the hues of a human. And this is what it is, that he showed me what the hues of a human. And it brought tears to my eyes. He was the one a month before that was praying for me, so that I see within myself. He has the capacity to see, and God gives him visions as well. And he has the capacity for God to show him what I mean to God. And he will show it. And this is what my explanation is he will come. This is the awe that I have of this man, the awe that I have of him. I'm getting goosebumps. He will take one topic that is of me. He'll take something of me and he'll explain something of me. He and I are the same, just in different ways. I explain it emotionally. He explains it intricately through the logical mind, the brain processes. He'll take one aspect of me and he will go through every dot and explain it in every way, from how he's interpreting it and how he's feeling it. And it's this minutia of just gorgeous salad that he makes. That's his liturgy. And it's just from one point of conversation and one connection that we can manifest with each other. And he births it. And he'll put it out, and it's if that's art. And it inspires me. It inspires me to bring Source Creator, to connect Source. Because without him connecting to Source vibrationally, and for him to see my perspective of being a vibrational healer, of it being all emotional body, of it being the emotional fields and the conduit fields that I can feel and the dimensional fields that I can feel and see, and for me to explain it in that multidimensional way, and for him to explain it from the logical mind and the perspectives and the processes through the logical mind, it's like, I'm in awe. I was in awe. He takes one topic, he takes one thing, and it's beauty. And it inspires me. It inspires me to feel into his swimming process with Source. He's a weaver too, but he just weaves in a different way. The way he weaves with Source through ideas and concepts and putting things together and then dissecting it and then doing it again. I'm in awe. And there at the end of just about at the end of the video, at the end of his liturgy, it was a Source connection. My belly felt Source, because I know Source. I teach Source. That's the Source thread. That is the connection of higher intellect going out into the collective. And we're starting to see each other. We're starting to see this in each other. This is why I want to get so excited about today. He is my inspiration at an intellectual level, at a vibrational level, from ancient timelines that I've remembered. And he has allowed me to see the aspect of my heart that has been shown in the collective. I haven't seen that. I felt it. And Source is so intellectual. Source is so deep, and Source is so wide, and Source just says, this is just the beginning. Wait till you see the end of the year. Wait till you see what you guys are doing by the end of the year. Wait till you see humanity by the end of the year. Oh my gosh. Like, humanity is just going to go, humanity is just going to, like, we're going to start these new schools, new temples. Like we're just going to be we're going to be so enamored with who we are becoming, with how much love and how much information, how much wisdoms are in front of us, how much wisdoms are within us. And we're just going to feel so in love with being in love with Source again. And knowing this is Source. This is God. This is the God I've been looking for. It's not that God. It was good, that God. That God was good and we learned a lot. But the God in here is so much better. Like, oh my God, I'm feeling everything now. And then I get to write about it. And then I get to teach people about it. I mean, how good is that? The applique of Source. This is the liturgy of today. The applique of Source. Thank you, Holy Spirit. He had the applique of Source mentally and through the logical systems and processing energy, processing emotion, how he processed it with his particular wounding and healing, and his courageous bravery to stand in front of a world of divine masculines that have not done the healing yet. But for him to approach such, I'm just getting so. If I have no other contact with him, and if I have no other contact with humanity, and if today is my last day on the planet, there's been a handful of people that have affected my life in such beautiful ways that I'm glad I even had a morsel of it, even if it's only been recently. And if I'm to experience nothing else than the beautiful clients that have made me feel like I'm worthy of them sending me donations to have food and the beautiful things that they've helped me survive through things I didn't think I would survive through, so that I could teach Source another day. If this is my last day, I'm just so grateful that I've had the beautiful moment the other day that I did listening to his liturgy. And if he was the only masculine that prayed for me, I'm so grateful that it was him. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm so grateful, Holy Spirit. Thank you. We're so grateful for you to be here at this time. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Commander Ashtar, was there any messages? Would you want to take any messages for today? I want to start doing some channelings about the brain and light with the brain. I really want to do those. So I'm going to be doing some of those next week, or this week actually, anytime this week. Does anybody have any questions they want to telepathically ask? And Commander Ashtar, if you would like to come forward and speak on behalf of the collective, the systems of light, the collective of light. So please, Spirit, I mean, this is, again, I show you every time. I cannot stop talking about the importance of expression. Start your YouTube channels. Start your Blogspot Radio. Blogspot Radio is really good. You get a half an hour for free. You don't have to pay for anything. You know, that's how I started. I started with Blogspot Radio. Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio. And you get your free first half hour, right? That's how I started. I started on Blog Talk Radio. And then I went over to KCOR, beautiful radio station in Vegas. A really great girl, Tina. I had lots of fun there. We had lots of fun expressing Source Creator. Expressing is so important. It's how we connect with each other. It's how our hearts remember each other, our expression of love with each other, our expression of Source. However you want to express Source, whether it's through song, poetry, your light language, sounds and tones, you know, express Source, express Source, express Source. And we absolutely believe that all of those that have been involved in nefarious experiences, we believe in you. We believe in you. We believe in you. We believe in you. We believe in you that you're going to turn things around and you're going to see your value and you're going to see your worth, and you really do want to stick in for eternal life. We all of the collective believes in you. We want you along for this ride, and we pray for you. So please, everybody that's been involved in any nefarious programs, if you do the right thing right now, Source is Source created. That's the Father I know. The Father I know wants all the children to be a part of the ride. The Father wants all children to be a part of the ride. So please, everybody, this is the Source that I know. This is the Source that is between the substrates. This is the Source that is substrates. This is the Source that is divine intelligence. This is the Source that is the infinite intelligent design throughout all life. Source just wants you to be a part of this glorious ride. to know each other, to feel each other, and to see each other in new ways. And that's the dodecahedron that's constantly spiraling within each and every one of us. Your starseeds, dear lighted ones. Your souls with vast, immense, profound trajectories. We're just getting started. So get up, get up, get up, dear lighted ones. If you need a healing session, if you need a class or a webinar, or you would like me to come out and speak to your work company, please just get in touch with me. We're going to somehow sort out how I can get my ID cards and my passports, because I had them stolen. So we're going to see how that's going to work. But as soon as I get them, given back to me, and we're going to sort out somehow, I'll get my passports or my IDs. And as soon as I get it, then we're going to be traveling, and I'll get out there. So we're very excited. As soon as I get my ID cards to travel, I'm going to travel and get to see as many of you as possible. So is there any question? Does anybody have a question for me? Telepathically. I'll put on my coat while I'm waiting. A telepathic question or comment, please. Anybody? Last 5 minutes. Yeah, it's just honoring the universal laws, the right use of free will and non-interference. And your teams and your guides would never ever tell you to work with dark magic. Your teams and your guides, your higher self would never ever tell you to hurt or harm anybody, let alone sacrifice anybody. Your teams would never ever tell you to give your power away. Those are just things that you thought you had to do, and you did because it wanted to give you a false sense of power, or it wanted to give you a false sense of whatever. Your higher self would never ever say those things. So be very careful about what people are telling you, and again, there's just been so much collective wrong information. Your higher self would never guide you to do any harm or tap into anybody else's akash. Your higher self would never guide you to these things. And so you can come and listen to all of our videos. I've got like over 900 videos, and I talk about the same thing all the time, which is your protocol. So understand that it's your responsibility to have a high vibrational protocol and follow the universal laws in that protocol. Work with your teams inside and out so that you know, and when you are in front of people, and when you do get initiated, when you do get those jobs and you do get those collaborations that are at a global collective level, you're known because of your integrity. You're known because of your inside and out. No, this is the way it's always been. I have a protocol. I don't step over it. This is my protocol. I don't bend for anybody. I don't care how much money you got. And everybody knows that. In the collective, everybody knows that. I can't be bought. Doesn't matter how much shiny things you throw. I don't care. No, because your guys work for me now. So it doesn't matter. I'm going to be getting what I'm going to be getting. That's going to be God getting it to me. And and it's sad. The only reason why I'm getting what I'm getting is because of God. I mean, it would have been nice if the collective would have, but it's the collective's karma, right? If the collective don't want to pull themselves through and their lineage through, they need to show God they're doing the work. Right? You got to do the work. And if you're not doing the work, you're not going to be pulled through. You just won't. Why would we pull you through? Hey, you're not doing the work. All you're doing is hurting people, taking and raping. Why would we do that? No, you got to do it yourself. So I wanted to just have that beautiful expose of other people that are in the collective that are speaking out, and they're speaking about topics about healing, and they're stepping on these new platforms, and they're challenging themselves in new ways, and I'm just so very proud of them. I'm just so proud. My heart is happy smiles, and my spirit is happy smiles. And they're helping inspire me to become better and higher version of inspiration for the collective, and guiding and leading all of you into higher vibrational expressive creativity. Creativity is so important every day to express and to help heal your body, right? If you could be expressive and creative every day, that would be amazing. And so I just wanted to say thank you. My PayPal for any sessions or donations is paypal.me/Joanna L. Ross. So paypal.me/Joanna L. Ross. And so I'm very excited. So anybody else want to say before we go? Yeah, that's okay. There's somebody saying, sorry that I went through what I went through. It's over now. So now it's just about healing and getting my money restored so that I can get busy helping people. I should be out there assisting people healing and putting on live events and inspiring the collective because I have sacred tongue and my sacred tongue has to be used, right? I'm meant to be out in the collective. That's what the gift is for, is to inspire and activate people's soul's remembrance and activate. So you'll probably get some soul activations from the codes today. They were very powerful codes. So if you want to listen to the video again and just know that and just ask your higher self to just move those codes and move the energy so you can get activated however you want. And I'm sending you all love. And I'm all that is assisting. Any donations, that would be wonderful. And I'm sending you love and light. And I love you. Bye. Namaste.